Hey everybody, Bill Sack here, your favorite attorney with Firearms Policy Coalition legal team. Today, Pennsylvania Attorney General Josh Shapiro, joined by 17 other state attorneys general, penned a letter to new Biden administration AG Garland on the subject of unfinished firearm receivers, known anecdotally as 80% receivers. Those of you that have been paying attention to the news recently are aware that the current apple of the gun grabber's eye are objects that aren't guns but look like guns, so they should obviously be regulated as guns, right? Shapiro's letter requests that Garland instruct the ATF to adopt a new definition of firearm under federal law, to include items that aren't firearms at all. This is in addition to two lawsuits currently in federal court brought by several cities and anti-gun groups like Giffords and Everytown, seeking to have a court command the ATF to do the same thing. Now, despite their supernatural title, so-called ghost guns, more accurately called non-firearm objects, aren't the boogeymen that AG Shapiro and his merry band of 17 tyrants would have you believe. The core of the issue is really rather simple. State and federal law clearly define what a firearm is, and the rule of lenity, not to mention common sense, provide that there has to be a bright line at which an object is a gun or is not a gun. Well, not so, says AG Shapiro. Astute listeners will remember that Shapiro's office attempted to regulate non-firearm objects here in Pennsylvania way back in 2019. In fact, Shapiro's letter to AG Garland appears rather proud of that effort. Of course, what Shapiro fails to mention is that Firearms Policy Coalition successfully obtained a preliminary injunction against him in landmark Firearms v. Evanchek, and a court order which is still in effect today, preventing Shapiro from enforcing that very illegal policy against Pennsylvania residents. Shapiro also used today's letter to brag about his recent agreement with major gun show promoter Eagle Arms, claiming that Eagle Arms had agreed to ban the sale of 80% receiver kits at their shows. Despite his victory lap, Shapiro neglected to mention that mere days after that deal had been announced, Eagle Arms clarified their position, and their website makes clear that 80% receivers are welcome to be sold at their gun shows. Regulating ghost guns isn't about public safety. It's about control and the centralization of power. Attorney General Shapiro's chronic allergy to telling the whole truth serves as every indication that these aren't the types of people in whom power should be centralized. If he's willing to misrepresent his office's actions publicly, to the Attorney General of the United States no less, just think how he treats us lowly residents of Pennsylvania. You can read more about landmark Firearms v. Evanchek and all of the other cases the FPC legal team is involved in at fpclegal.org. I'm Bill Sack, your favorite attorney with the Firearms Policy Coalition legal team.